What's up YouTube? Today the video will be a very important one. I will share with you why comparing prices in the soccer card market is so important and why I believe a lot of people should focus more on lineage and I would say less on rarity, but I will explain that a little bit later on the video. If in the end you guys end up enjoying the video, you guys already know, please do not forget to give a like, that means a lot to me, and if you can subscribe to my channel, that will be amazing too. That being said, let's move into the disclaimer and will be a short one, you guys should know this at this point, no financial advice. English not my main language, any types of mispronunciations, I'm sorry for that. So, first value, then price. Not the first time I talk about this, and at this point most of my viewers should already know that value is quite different than price. If you are not in that level yet, please go watch a couple of videos I made about how to assess value in cards, and I guess you end up getting a different perspective and you can actually get back to this video and have a better understanding of this video. But let's say, and this is what I believe, most of you guys already know that value and price are quite different. Finding value in cards is something complex, but fundamentals are the key. I'm gonna say it again. Finding value in cards is something complex, but fundamentals are crucial, are the key. Lineage, history, demand, potential demand, eye appealing, etc. All of those fundamentals are important to know. All of those fundamentals will help you a lot when you try to assess value on the card. But let's say you tell me this, and this will be a valid argument. Okay, Andre, look, I found a card with great value, now how much should I pay? Because you tell me that value and price is not the same thing. The card have great value, but what if the price is not correct for the value? Because could be undervalued or overvalued. Great point. And the short answer for this is, first of all, let's say experience, but the short answer is comparing prices, knowing what this card have been sold for, and even in a different level of comparing prices, not only on the same market, going to different markets, comparing with different players, because that's what I do and I have been very successful doing that. Let's start with an example, and in this case I end up choosing Samuel Eto'o and Didier Drogba. I know the pop for the Samuel Eto'o is a little bit lower for the Drogba, but for this example, let's say the pop is almost the same. Let's say the rarity on the card is almost the same. In the end, let's say all of the fundamentals are very similar between those two guys. And actually, in general, those two guys are two of the best African players ever. I know that rarity is different on those cards, but for the example, let's say both are equal rare, and you tell me, look, Drogba is actually cheaper than Samuel Eto'o. Okay, that's a good sign that Samuel Eto'o can actually be a good opportunity on the market. Okay, and this is a very basic way to compare prices. This is a very basic way to understand things, but basics are important. Okay, so let's say again, this will be a recap, but I think it's important. Both being in the similar level in terms of relevance, in terms of rarity, etc. And if one is cheaper than another, that could represent an opportunity on the market. This is very easy to understand, right? I think most of you guys would agree with me. But this is what you should do if you are trying to buy a Messi second year card. Compare with Cristiano Ronaldo cards, second year, third years. If you are trying to buy a Pelé card, compare with Maradona. Compare with Beckenbauer. You guys understand things that could be related to some extent, basically. But in the end, and this is very bad news for a lot of people, do not expect a definitive answer. This is a very difficult equation to solve. I'm going to say it again. Do not expect a definitive answer. A lot of people try to go very methodical on this hobby, and I think that's a mistake, okay? I think looking at data is very important, but one thing that I believe is even more important is staying on the market for a long time, learning with other collectors, having a feeling on the market, okay? Because look, I'm going to be honest, sometimes the pop says this is pop 10, the other card is pop 10, but I know there is way more easy to find raw copies for 110 than the other, and most of people are not aware of this. So experience on the market is quite crucial. And there is a quote that I love that we need to be aware of this, that the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. This is a reality of the market. Sometimes, even if a card have great value, great entry point, look, if you tell me that card end up crashing tomorrow and never end up recovering, I would say, look, it is what it is, okay? When you start talking about cards, understand one thing. Cards have no intrinsic value, okay? All of this is about perception. All of this is about narratives. The reason Drogba is less expensive than Messi is because the market strongly believes Messi is a better player. The reason the Drogba sticker is more expensive than the Eto'o one is because the market may think that the sticker is actually more rare. So, and those narratives, some will be a little bit more easy to understand. Look, of course, Messi is a better player than Drogba, but knowing for sure that the Drogba sticker is more rare than the Mundicromo card for Samuel Eto'o, that's debatable, but that doesn't matter as long the market do not realizes that they are actually wrong, or they can be potentially wrong. Fundamentals are great, but in the end, they are your perception with confirmation bias. Okay, look, when I try to assess a value for a player versus another player, if I like one player more, if I have more cards about that player, there is a likely scenario. Even if I try my best, I will have confirmation bias for a certain card. In the long run, you get better assessing value and price. The reason is quite simple: experience. Understand the power of narratives, and the psychology behind the consumer is crucial. Look, I'm going to share an example with you. When people start buying 2014 Messi Prism, I was buying Messi rookies, because for me made a lot of sense that those guys will realize eventually they are not buying a rookie, and they will discover the Mega Cracks, the Mundicromo, etc. Look, when people starting buying the Mega Cracks quite heavily, I was buying the Mundicromo one, because I knew that card is still quite crucial for the Messi market. It's actually the first release for Lionel Messi, and sooner or later that narrative will be there. Again, I know this is boring, guys. When people was buying Mundicromo, I actually was buying Mega Cracks second year, because I thought, look, Mundicromo is great, but the lineage on the Mega Cracks is stronger, and in general, the second year Messi market seems very unexplored. So understand the psychology, and look, the reality is, and I know I'm saying this, but a lot of you guys will make the same mistake all the time. The market is hot for one card. That's the time to buy the card for you. Of course, that's stupid. That makes no sense. That's the reality. I'm sorry. I made that mistake on the past. I made that mistake way less right now. It's normal. It's quite normal. Do not think I'm special, or any other guy that you guys saw on YouTube is special. We all tend to get caught in FOMO at one point in time. Look, I was looking. I'm gonna share with you an example that is very basic. I was watching Dortmund playing. Look, Bellingham seems like an amazing player. I'm actually starting to believe that Bellingham will be a generational player. I almost bought some cards for Bellingham, but I was like, you know what? This is FOMO. This is fear of missing out. Those players are so new. I should not be putting a lot of money into those guys, because there is a likely scenario I will have actually even a better entry point, because those Dortmund probably not winning anything. You guys understand different narratives that I can actually take advantage on the market, even if I want to invest on Bellingham. So keep that in mind. This Eto'o Drogba is a super basic example. You could compare those players with other players in other markets, and the equation gets even more difficult. Look, if you start putting, okay, let me take a look at Drogba versus, let's say, a Kevin Garnett on the NBA market. You know what? Now let's compare this with a Pikachu on the Pokemon market. I know a lot of you guys are laughing right now, but this is something you guys should do, honestly, because understanding that markets, they are different, but some basics tend to be very similar, okay? And that's why I care a lot about Magic the Gathering, about Yu-Gi-Oh!, about Pokemon, about Lord of the Rings, about your Harry Potter market, and that's why you guys enjoy my videos. That's the key, because I have different perceptions for other markets, and a lot of content creators, and this will be a critic for a lot of my fellow content creators on the soccer card market, they just care about soccer. I think that's a mistake. Look, I love soccer more than I love the other markets, but for me, going to different markets helps me a lot and puts me in perspective a lot of things. To finish this, be aware that the cards with great value and potential and potentially a good entry point, good price, can fail. There is no guarantees in this market. Cards have no intrinsic value. Narratives change all the time. Yes, guys, I'm being boring, but at least I'm being honest with my audience. And that's for me the crucial thing. Moving on. So, finding opportunities. Look, I was saying the Drogba comparison was quite basic because I guess you guys would agree with me. Drogba and Eto'o, maybe you like Eto'o more, maybe you like Drogba more, but they are very, very similar in terms of popularity, in terms of relevance in the hobby. But finding opportunities is actually comparing prices a lot of times in my perspective. Actually, I have all of the cards you are seeing on the screen, and I love all of those three cards. Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry, and Ronaldo. And I would say from the 90s, let's forget Ronaldinho because Ronaldinho was at the end of the 90s, but from the 90s, those guys are the GOATs, those guys are the most relevant players, especially Ronaldo and Zidane. But even Thierry Henry having a big falling on the market shows strength on Thierry Henry market. But let's say that's a given, and I believe there is not a lot of debate on this. Those guys are the guys from the 90s, especially Zidane and Ronaldo. I was looking at the market for all of those three guys because I actually own all of those cards, and I was looking, you know what, the Ronaldo market seems quite undervalued right now, and this is a good example. By the way, no financial advice, you make your own decisions, but this is actually a real example that I'm applying right now on my decisions. Instead of buying Zinedine Zidane and Thierry Henry cards, I'm actually buying Ronaldo cards because I believe there is more potential on those. What's the mistake on the market? A lot of you guys are seeing I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. What's the mistake big part of the market are doing? Maybe not even my audience, to be fair, but big part of the market. And if you guys understand this, you guys will make way better decisions in the future. Thierry Henry market is hot. People are buying Thierry Henry right now more than they actually bought when the market was down for Thierry Henry or not explored for Thierry Henry. Not the case. Full disclosure, I actually sold a Thierry Henry rookie card, I would say at all-time highs for the grade that I ended up selling. It's not relevant and I'm sorry, I ended up touching the mic. It's a private deal that would stay with me, but I sold one. Zinedine Zidane, I'm actually going to be honest, thinking about selling one. I own two, I'm okay selling one. Ronaldo in the other end, and I'm buying. Look, you can tell, wait, but don't you believe the Zidane ones are a great old? Yes, but look, I believe Zidane's are a great old, but I also believe with the money of one Zidane, I can buy 3 or 4 Ronaldos that will be a way better old in the future. So this is all about perception. This is all about understanding what you are doing on the market. So this is a perfect example. Zidane and Henry, great players, love both. Two of my both favorite players ever. Right now, I strongly believe the Ronaldo one is a way better buy. When you take a look at the total sales on PSA, you can see with only 6 sales, Thierry Henry end up making way more, getting way more money in general for the market cap, I would say, than the Ronaldo one. And when you look at Thierry Henry and Zinedine Zidane, I'm sorry, this is a long video. When you look at Zinedine Zidane, you can see the price is even crazier. So I end up finding sales that I thought was still relevant because they end up being quite recently. A PSA 5 for Thierry Henry sold for 6.5k. A PSA 5 for I'm sorry, I'm losing a little bit focus and I apologize for that. Let me say this again because I believe I said Thierry Henry. Zinedine Zidane PSA 5 sold for 6.5k and Thierry Henry once sold another PSA, in this case 6, the Zidane was a 5, a PSA 6 for Henry sold for 3.1k, and guess what, a PSA 5, a PSA 6 again for the Ronaldo sold for 1.5k. When you look at pops, the Ronaldo one seems more popular, but by the way guys, I have another shocking revelation for a lot of my viewers. those pops are still quite low, no matter the player you end up choosing. Guess what? If you tell me, you know what, maybe the Henry is the more rare. I'm not sure about that, because the Panini Foot 92 and the Panini Foot 97 actually makes more sense for the Panini Foot 92 being more rare because of time than the Panini Foot 97, so the production could be similar for both, but the awareness on the market for Zidane was stronger for a long time. And by the way, if you track these cards, I have been seeing a couple of raw coming into the market, not only on eBay, even on French market, so I would not be surprised if the pop for the Panini Foot 97 will increase. Actually, and I'm not seeing a lot of Zidanes coming into the market in a raw form, so see, you can understand that rarity is something that is so relative, and people tend to overrate or actually underrate rarity, because there is both scenarios. The Ronaldo one is a little bit, the pop is a little bit higher, is 98, but still very low pop, and the awareness for Ronaldo, in my perspective, was way stronger than the awareness for Thierry Henry. And I would make an argument that I would say 1-2 years ago, more people was caring about the Ronaldo card more than the Zinedine Zidane. But that's a debatable take, and I have no proven on that. Let me say another thing. Ronaldo, 3 times best player in the world. Thierry Henry never won the best player in the world. Zidane, same logic, 3 times best player in the world like Ronaldo. So for me, those guys are goats in their own rights, or at least goats on the 90s, but Ronaldo and Zidane are in a different level. So I would say, not sure about the Zinedine Zidane market, but at least Ronaldo versus the Thierry Henry, I strongly believe there is an opportunity on Ronaldo. Another thing you can tell me, wait, you are doing a mistake because Ronaldo have more rookies than Thierry Henry. Actually, both have 3 rookies. The Henry have this one, the Panini Mejores Equipos Spanish/Portuguese version, and the Russian version. A lot of people, again, are not aware of this. That's why Panini Mejores Equipos Europa is increasing quite a lot, because it's actually a great opportunity if you believe in the soccer card market, and specific on the Henry market. And for the Ronaldo one, there is only 3 rookies. This one, the another one from the set, this is the typical headshot, the other is the action shot, and the El Mundo Deportivo rookie card with Brazil. So even on those front, you can make different narratives if you put in perspective Henry market versus Ronaldo market. I'm not sure if the rarity is in the side of the Henry. I would say yes at this point, but that being said, in terms of relevance, in terms of importance, I believe Ronaldo is way more important than Thierry Henry. Way more important, maybe I'm going too far, but he's more important. So that this is another example why comparing prices can actually help you find opportunities on the market. And at this point, I think the Ronaldo is an amazing opportunity when you compare with the Henry one in specific, or even the Zidane. Zidane being a different case because there is way less rookie material for Zinedine Zidane. But another thing that I end up not putting on this video, when you compare the second year card for Zidane, the one that is, again, a second year, instead of 91, 92, that card in PSA 5, PSA 7s, and I know that card seems like very low pop, but by the way, I haven't seen those cards a lot in France. But that card in particular, when you compare with Ronaldo, even a second year card for Zidane, I'm not sure if he's completely outperforming Ronaldo on the Football 95, but he's very close to that, at least in lower grades. Higher grades, always a different story, but this is something to keep in mind, that can put, at least I believe there is a potential opportunity on the Ronaldo front. Do your own research, okay? And this will be the final idea on comparing those 3 guys. Look, Henry and Ronaldo, I strongly believe, are not in the same level, and even not in terms of a player, because look, 3 times best player in the world versus 0, that should be your answer, to be fair. That being said, Henry was amazing. But one thing I would say is not even just titles, just awards. It's actually relevance right now in the soccer world, in the soccer card world. Again, soccer card world and soccer world, there is a disconnection sometimes. But this is a basic search on Google Trends, I believe, in the last 12 months or something like that. And you can see the red line is the Ronaldo and the blue line is the Henry. and look at the difference. It's not even comparable. And by the way, my final tip for my viewers, because I know you guys love this type of stuff, if I had to buy one Ronaldo right now, the one I would go would be the Panini Football 95, the number 91, the action shot. Not that I do not believe this is a great buy, because I believe this is another great buy. And in terms of eye appealing, I actually like this a little bit more, I'm going to be honest. But in terms of rarity, seems like, at least for now, but look, your assess of rarity is as good as mine at this point. This one seems quite more difficult to find than the typical headshot, and 39 pop. Look, even when you compare with those guys, the pop for Ronaldo is still insanely low. And the PSA 6 for this card sold for 1.2k. So you can see how, at least, again, my perspective, how big of opportunity there is on the set Football 95 for both cards, to be fair. But if I had to choose one, I would go for the action shot. And by the way, you are saying we are just comparing prices, but all about fundamentals. Okay, let's go back, guys. And no, let's go back and let's go forward at the same time. Let me tell you one thing. Let's skip this first. Let's say this one. I will go back to this one. This will be a different discussion. The video today will be longer. I told you guys this at the start. You can tell, wait. The rookie for Ronaldo, the main rookie, is the El Mundo Deportivo. I honestly cannot see that at all. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that front, but in terms of lineage, it's not fair to compare the El Mundo Deportivo with those, because those are exactly the same lineage. Panini Foot is the Panini set for France, same in the Henry and the Zidane one, and Panini Football was the release on Holland, Netherlands. So in terms of lineage, both are the same, and actually they actually look very similar, because all of those three are the typical headshot. So backs, even backs, I would say, are quite similar. Panini ended up doing the same thing, putting the name of the set, the same type of almost leathers, etc. So all of those share the same lineage. That's why I believe this is a good comparison, because if I put the El Mundo Deportivo on, this will not be a fair comparison in my book, because El Mundo Deportivo, look, is a great item, but in terms of lineage is very poor in my perspective. That being said, I will go back into that, but to putting in perspective why I end up choosing the Ronaldo Football 95, the typical headshot, is because the lineage is the correct lineage for this comparison. And to finish this, in terms of fundamentals, look, Ronaldo 1, great history, great lineage on this card. Demand, I believe, is there. Potential demand, I believe, will be even stronger. There is a lot of great fundamentals for this card, eye appealing, etc. I will not go very deep into that, but yes, I'm comparing prices because I already assess value for that card. Moving on, and let me say one thing that is quite important. I have two news, again, old news to be fair, but tomorrow there will be no video on YouTube, but in the other hand, I will share with my Patreon members the Q&A number 23. And by the way, already at this point I end up answering more than 100 questions on the Patreon side. So if you like my content on YouTube, there is a likely scenario you guys will love my content on the Patreon. Apart from that, you are supporting the channel and you are actually giving me an incentive to do more content. And if you guys are not aware of the Patreon, now is the perfect time to join the Patreon, because that's the start of the month, and on my end, at least I believe is that way that Patreon is working with me. My Patreon members are charged at the beginning of the month. So if you guys want to join at the end of the month, I think that's an awful idea, but if you guys want to join right now, I believe is the perfect time. Apart from that, you guys get exclusive content on Wednesday and Saturdays. On Wednesday will be a Q&A video that you guys can actually ask me questions on the Patreon side, and on Saturday will be extra audio, more like a podcast, where I talk about the state of the market, what I'm buying, what I'm seeing. More than 60 members right now on the Patreon community, so thank you so much for those. Those are the ones I really care in the end, because look, I put a lot of time doing videos like this. I think getting some type of retribution makes a lot of sense. So link below the video if you want to check my Patreon. If you want to join my Patreon, you will be very welcome. Another thing, and this ended up blowing my mind yesterday. I made a video about creating a Discord channel, and I actually ended up putting the link on the video. And by the way, again, in less than 20 hours, in less than one day, more than 200 members already. This is crazy. At this pace, I believe will eventually be the biggest Discord on the soccer card market. I could be wrong on that, but look, this is a crazy number in less than 24 hours. So if you guys want to join my Discord channel, I think you guys will love a lot of great discussions, a lot of people talking about pre-modern, about vintage, even about modern, people sharing collections, people sharing, actually you can actually buy cards and sell cards on the Discord, being very careful of course. So invite for the Discord below the video, and please join the Discord, because I at least I'm learning a lot, so I suspect you guys will learn a lot too. Moving on. Okay, now let's go to the question, or at least the topic no one wants to talk about, the Ronaldo market being, in my perspective, a little bit wrong. I would say actually very, very wrong. Right now, the 94 El Mundo Deportivo card sells for quite more money than the 94 Panini Football 95. There is a lot of reasons to that, and I will share with you my perspective on that front. By the way, I own both cards. So, again, you can say maybe I own more than Panini Football than I own the Mundo Deportivo. That will be a different conversation. And I actually own more Panini Football 95 because I believe more on Panini Football 95 than I believe on the 94 El Mundo Deportivo. And I will share with you my reasons. So, and I'm putting a poll on my Instagram. By the way, more than 300 votes, which is quite a big number. And keep one thing in mind: most of my viewers care about vintage and pre-modern. And guess what? The Panini Football, in terms of favorite hook, ended up getting 74%. I actually made another poll, I would say a couple of months ago. I think it's not relevant for now. Where I actually ended up comparing what's the better buy if both are the same price. And I believe was around 80% people who end up going for the Panini Football 95. You can tell me, wait, but that's crazy, because the market actually pays more for the El Mundo Deportivo than the Panini Football 95. Yes, and the reason is quite simple. The narrative was way stronger, and actually record sales on the El Mundo Deportivo in Goldin, in PWCC, and they're pushing, again, more narratives into that card. And another influencers, and by the way, a lot of influencers that I actually like them, and they're pushing the idea this is the main rookie, this should be the card to get for Ronaldo. I totally disagree with that, and actually do not see how can people argument that with me. Let me say another thing before I actually go into the arguments. I actually like the El Mundo Deportivo card, otherwise I would not own one. I just believe the Panini Football 95 is a better, in terms of value right now. I suspect if you buy one versus another, in the long run, you will end up doing much better with Panini Football 95. Can I guarantee that for sure? Of course not. That's why I'm telling you guys, think with your own head. I'm just sharing with you my perspective that actually have been working for me very well. But there is a likely scenario one day I will be wrong, and could be this. Let me say another thing. One of the reasons that I'm not putting on those arguments that I believe the Panini Football is not selling for the same amount of money as the El Mundo Deportivo is because of PSA. PSA, in terms of labeling cards, they are a shit show. There is no way around this. Right now, the Panini Football 95 is already labeled 94, but for a long time this card was 95 on the label. And a lot of people said, you know what, I'm not buying a second year card, I will buy the El Mundo Deportivo. It's more rare and is actually 94. Guess what? That was a mistake by PSA. That's why it's so important to do your own research. Even right now, if you take a look at the market, I would say big percentage of the slabs for the Ronaldo football 95, they still say 95 instead of 94. So this was lack of awareness on the market. Even content creators end up saying this, and those videos are still online. You know what? Buy the El Mundo Deportivo. That's 94. The other one is 95. And actually end up comparing that with the Super Calcio 95, which is actually 95 and correctly labeled. But the Panini Football was mislabeled for long time and ended up creating that almost a weird pressure on that card. Now let's compare both, knowing that both are 94. Lineage. Can anyone on my YouTube channel, on the comments, tell me that the El Mundo Deportivo is a card with great lineage, because we'll be crazy if you are doing that. I'm sorry, but there is no argument on that. El Mundo Deportivo is a newspaper on Spain. Actually, I believe very focused on Barcelona. I'm going to say it again. It's a newspaper. This was uncut. This was given on a sheet, I believe, on Sunday, actually. The other card is a Panini card that was pack pulled. By the way, another thing against the Ronaldo El Mundo Deportivo. That was licensed by the league. I'm not even sure if El Mundo Deportivo had any type of rights with the Brazil national team. You can say, wait, do you believe that's possible? Yes, there is a lot of cases in Europeans shady sets, basically. I know the El Mundo Deportivo, being a big newspaper, is relevant. That being said, league license is a totally different beast. Eye appealing, you can say that's relative. Guess what? At least 74% of the market disagrees with you if you are going for this one. But like I said, if you like the El Mundo Deportivo, you do you. Normally, those cards look very, very bad, especially lower grades, because the centering is a mess. Sometimes the cut is actually not even well done. And I would say this is a controversial take. There is a solid argument that PSA should not be grading that sticker. If I was working at PSA, a lot of things will change on the soccer market. Thank God I'm not there, because I will make a lot of people mad on that front. Lineage, no, there is no type of debate on this. Rarity, I would say the El Mundo Deportivo is more rare. That being said, both are low pops. Pack pulled, again, super important. Panini Football, amazing. League license, Panini Football, amazing. Eye appealing, amazing on the Panini Football side in my perspective. Another thing, guys, there is not even a back on the El Mundo Deportivo card. And by the way, you can tell me, wait, no, but vintage is that way. Guess what? In 94, that was not even a normal anymore. Most cards in 94s, there is backs. This card not having a back, even in terms of eye appealing, makes even worse for me. Being uncut makes even worse for me. This being from Spain, there is no connection with Ronaldo at that time. At least with PSV, there is a connection, because he was playing at PSV. It was very good, by the way. Actually, again, crazy to think about how people are paying more for the El Mundo Deportivo than the Panini Football 95. And if you do not like this one, you could put the action shot, because it seems like in terms of rarity is more similar to the El Mundo Deportivo. And people that will tell me, no, but the El Mundo Deportivo is very rare. That will be my next point, okay? Let me say this. I actually like the El Mundo Deportivo Ronaldo, and if you are a Ronaldo collector, like I am, I think it's a good card to own. Maybe there is argument to say, maybe that card is actually correct valued right now on the market, but the Panini Football 95 is the one that is a giant sleeper. And I would be with you on that front. I just don't think it's better than the Football 95. And I strongly believe with market getting more educated, because look, I know a lot of content creators talk a lot about rookie stuff, why this is a rookie, the other is not a rookie, but they forget to talk about lineage, pack pulled, league license, eye appealing, etc. When you go to vintage, things get even shady, but that will be a different video for another day. A lot of people are getting caught by the rarity logic. Rarity is important, no doubt about that. Especially when you start talking about true rarity, which is not the case for the El Mundo Deportivo. I'm still seeing a lot of those in Spain. That being said, I believe it's more rare. But I believe a lot of people are getting caught by the rarity logic. Rarity is important, yes, but it's not the only thing. Very far from that. The football seems more common, but we are still talking about minimum difference for now in my perspective. If one day you tell me, look, this is 100 copies and the football is 1K or 2K, I would say, okay, maybe we need to reassess, maybe I need to reassess my position on the market. That being said, having good lineage, again, great fundamentals, makes the Panini Football a way better item than the El Mundo Deportivo for me. let's move on, and I will keep talking about this with different examples. So you tell me, you know what, you are crazy. The El Mundo Deportivo is way more rare again. Factual, actually not correct at this point, but is more rare. I should go for that. Okay, in that case, I would tell you this. Well, I don't know if you guys are on the Messi rookie market. I am. The 2004 Lionel Messi Mega Crack 7 on Bs is not even close the most rare rookie for Lionel Messi. The ST sticker seems quite more difficult to find. The Mundi Chromo, actually the one with 4 players, I believe is actually more rare. The Mundi Chromo 1, the typical one, is more common. But this one was a limited edition in Spain. So those two, and you can see the pops are actually quite lower than the 7 on Bs, are more rare than the 7 on Bs, but people pay quite more for the 7 on Bs. Why is that, guys? The reason is simple. Is they are applying the logic I'm applying on this, that the market is not applying on this Ronaldo, but this market is a little bit better developed. Look, I strongly believe the 7 on Bisu should be the most expensive card for Lionel Messi, because fundamentals are there. Better lineage. Look, I love the ST sticker, but let's be real. A lot of people do not like the fact this is a sticker. And if you own both cards, and I own both cards, when you have both cards in hand, you see a big difference. The Panini Mega Cracks, in terms of eye appealing, and by the way, eye appealing is quite undervalued right now in the market. Drives me crazy that people only care about rare. Guys, cards are not about rarity alone. Cards are also about beautiful pieces. Cards are also about enjoying what you have, what you own. So, if you, at one point in time, had the 7 on Bs in hand versus the DS sticker, and I had, look, there is no comparison. The ST sticker is not in the same level as the Messi 7 on Bs. In the back for the Messi 7 on Bs, there is actual explanation about Messi. I believe there is some stats. Don't quote me on this, but I know there is some type of good information on the back. The ST sticker is just a sticker. By the way, I actually believe it's the most undervalued rookie for Lionel Messi right now on the market. But I understand why the Messi 7 on Bs is more important. Same logic with the Mundi Chrome, with one big difference, because the SS sticker was actually made by Panini at that time. People, for some reason, still confund those type of things. S was producing cards, but Panini was already the owner. I actually ended up realizing that not that long time ago, so that was a mistake by me also on that front. But right now it's quite clear that Panini was already owner of the ST sticker, so the ST sticker is actually a Panini sticker. But in the case of the Mundi Chromo card, look, Mundi Chromo, I love Mundi Chromo. You guys know my opinion about Mundi Chromo at this point, but let's not compare Mundi Chromo with Panini, because that would make no sense. You guys can tell me, yeah, that makes a lot of sense right now, yes? Because, look, yeah, Messi 7 on B is way better eye appealing, better item to collect in my perspective. Lineage, amazing lineage, great fundamentals. Yeah, Mundi Chrome, the card does not even look that good. His Mundi Chrome is, in terms of Panini, we cannot even compare those things. Guys, now I have another great or bad news. It will depend on your perception. Those comparisons, let's forget the Maradona for now, because that will be a different story. But those comparisons right now is not even fair with this one. El Mundo Deportivo have no lineage in soccer. El Mundo Deportivo was not pack pulled. There is no type of license. Eye appealing is a disaster. Guys, on those, look, Panini sticker, Mundi Chrome, way better lineage than the El Mundo Deportivo card. In terms of eye appealing, I prefer those two. At least they are not uncut. So you can see how markets tend to sometimes get a little bit crazy, and the El Mundo Deportivo card is a great example in my views. By the way, I know I will get a crazy amount of dislikes or some type of hate on the comments just because of this take, because guess what? When you make content about cars, it's very difficult. If a guy that owns the El Mundo Deportivo is watching my video, automatic that guy will be mad at me. But at least I'm being real. And keep one thing in mind, I actually own the El Mundo Deportivo, but facts are facts. And if you are a owner of El Mundo Deportivo, guess what? I still like that card. I still think if you are a Ronaldo collector, that's a great item to have. When I compare it with the Panini Football 95, I think it's crazy. It's just that. And again, you guys can tell me, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Actually, the Messi is a great example. The Messi Everon Bees is not even the most rare, but seems like people pay more for the Messi Everon Bees than they pay for the other rookies. Yeah. And guess what? Do you guys want even an extreme example? Panini Calciatore 79 Maradona versus 77 Football Maradona, Disc Pog, whatever you want to call it. The true rookie for Maradona. Let me say one thing. I actually think the 79 Maradona is a little bit overvalued right now because I'm still seeing a lot of those on eBay raw. So I would not be surprised if this pop increases quite a lot. That being said, and look, on this I will be honest, I prefer the disc, the POG, way much in terms of history, even in terms of lineage. By the way, not fair to compare this POG with this one because this at the time was the way that the Argentine market was working with making stickers. This is for them. This is almost the same as a sticker at the time. So even in terms of lineage, the 77 is a great card, not even comparable with the El Mundo Deportivo 94 Ronaldo. But guess what? Compare pops. 79 is way more rare. Guess what? In lower grades, I'm not comparing the top of the market. In lower grades, this one sells for less than this. I would say above PSA 7, 8, this is probably starting outperforming this one, which in my opinion makes not a lot of sense, okay? But why this card performs so well? Guys, let's be real. In terms of eye appealing, if you are a collector and if you actually enjoy to watch your cards, look, this is such a relative thing, but we need to understand the general idea of the market, almost the general perception of the market. This card is a way better card. Let's be real. I mean, in terms of eye appealing, is not even comparable. From Panini, look, 74 football. I actually remember the name of the set from this is not even football, but it does not matter. Of course, Panini Calciatore in terms of relevance in the hobby is way more stronger than this set from Argentina. So these are the type of narratives that can actually make your decision when we start comparing prices, when you start comparing lineage. In this case, for example, I would prefer much the 77 versus the 79, but I understand why people love the 79 so much, because for me is actually, in terms of pictures, is one of the most iconic pictures for Maradona ever. And I own a couple of 79s, and I think those are great items to collect. Should they be more expensive, less expensive? That will be a different conversation. But keep one thing in mind. Lineage is already playing a big factor in the soccer card market. Maybe it's not showing on this one. And that's why I believe there is a great opportunity on the Panini Football 95 versus the El Mundo Deportivo. Should the El Mundo Deportivo be relevant? Of course. The Panini Football 95 is the true rookie for Ronaldo without any type of doubt. And if you guys want my prediction, I believe in the next 1-2 years, this will be a given. A lot of people end up pushing this card as the true rookie. They will look at this video and they will see that I was correct, predicting that the Football 95 with PSA actually labeling that card correct is a question of time until that card becomes the most important card for Ronaldo Nazário Lima. Moving on, and to finish this, even more examples. Like I said, I love the Yu-Gi-Oh market. I love the Magic the Gathering market. And look, actually own everything that you see on the photos. Not a PSA 10 for the DDS Blue Eyes White Dragon. I wish not the case. But actually, I bought one recently, a lower grade copy to be fair. But I own all of the cards you are seeing on the screen, different grades, okay? So, this is the first, guys, okay, if this is boring for you, maybe my channel is not for you. I'm going to say it again. Because if you guys want to learn, taking a look at different markets is quite important. Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the biggest TCGs in the world. So, and if you guys are not aware of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Blue Eyes White Dragon is kind of like the Pelé of the set. It's kind of like the of the game, better saying. It's kind of like the Messi Severon Bees. It's kind of like the Charizard of the Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is the most important card, basically the most important personage or something like that on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Market. I own all of those three cards, and this is actually the first Blue Eyes White Dragon ever. This is a Bandai 98 Blue Eyes White Dragon. At the time, the Yu-Gi-Oh market was actually owned by Bandai. They end up changing the license to Konami, and until this day, Konami is still the one, the company that is doing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But in terms of history, I would say this is actually, and in terms of lineage, this is a great card to own. This is the first Blue Eyes White Dragon made by Konami, okay? In this case, it's a little bit different. Konami ended up putting those on a PlayStation game, so in terms of rarity, this is actually quite rare to find. This one I'm not so sure, but this one is actually very difficult to find in my experience. So when you take a look at the pops, and I strongly believe in this, the 2002 Blue Eyes White Dragon DDS version is not more rare than those two. Not at all. Actually, the rarity is on the side of the Blue Eyes White Dragon Bandai and the promo that was given on the PlayStation game. But guess what? It does not matter, because the lineage is stronger on the 2002 Yu-Gi-Oh! Promo. That was a release made globally, but especially for the American market. And in terms of lineage, these cards already have the normal design, basically, that most of cards have nowadays. So this is a way better product if you are a collector. You can say, but maybe the other ones are undervalued. I actually believe that. But that being said, I do not expect those cards, just because they are more rare, to outperform this one. And you guys are now thinking, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But that's not what's happening right now on the soccer card market. People are putting a lot of weight on rarity, and they are forgetting about lineage. Keep one thing in mind. One thing will be, look, that card is 10k pop versus a card that is 20 total pop. That will be, of course, very different. But and by the way, even those pops, they are similar. And people in soccer, when a card has 20 pop versus 100, they think it's too different when the market is just getting started. And sometimes it's only about awareness on certain cards that are stronger than the others. Okay, guys. To finish this, and this will go to the smart Andy on the comments, that I always have one that tries to critique my idea or my point of view, and that's valid because I actually enjoy those type of guys. Let me say one thing. So this is more rare than this one, and this is one of the reasons this card is selling for more, right? Again, you guys at this point should already have a different opinion, but that was the narrative on the market. The Panini Football is a little bit easier to find. This one is with Brazil, which makes not even a lot of sense, because cards with the club should have a premium versus national teams, in my perspective. But let's say those are your arguments. Look, this is more rare than this one. There is no doubt in my mind I would go for the El Mundo Deportivo every day. Okay, so tell me why the Panini Foot 97 outperforms the Panini Melhores Equipes de Europa Russian version. The Russian version in PSA, the total is only 4 versus 34 for the Thierry Henry one. And look, can I tell you this for sure? Of course not, but I believe the Russian version, Thierry Henry rookie, is by far the most difficult, at least right now on the market, like I said, is by far the most difficult sticker to find for Thierry Henry in terms of rookie material. But sells, guess what? Sells for way less than the Panini Foot 97. Even if you just count higher grades for the Panini Foot 97, the Melhores Equipes de Europa seems more rare, at least looking at the pop right now. But that makes sense, guys, because it's all about lineage. And guess what, guys? Another big news for the people that tend to go for the rarity or the lineage. This is not even comparable with this one. Do not compare El Mundo Deportivo with Panini Melhores Equipes de Europa, because guess what? Starts with the first word, Panini. I guess you guys can see how some influencers, some narratives, some ideas, some Discord channels, putting my YouTube channel, putting my Discord channel on that front too, can change the perception on the market. But when you try to analyze the market, I would say in the correct way, that's relative, of course, you can see there is opportunities. You can see maybe some things are overvalued, maybe some things are undervalued. Or maybe some things are correctly valued, which I actually believe is the case for the El Mundo Deportivo and for the Panini Foot 97, for example, and actually for example, in this case, the Panini Melhores Equipas de Europa Russian version is quite undervalued in my perspective, and the Panini Football 95, both versions, both cards are crazy undervalued. Moving on. Final ideas of the video. And I will finish this, and guys, I hope this is a reflection. You guys reflect on this, you guys think about this topic. Don't put a comment if you are not sure about your feeling about this video. Put the comment a little bit later. Make your decision about your perception of the market, your perception of this video. But I will say this. And guys, listen very careful, because like I said, a lot of people will get mad at me because they own stake on a couple of cards I'm talking about. But I'm being honest with my audience, and for me, and I will say this again, right now, I love my collection. I love enjoying the hobby, but I'm caring more about my community than anything else, because I realize I can actually have a mission on the community. I can actually change the community for the better. Even if I do not focus a lot on my collection, or even if I end up losing deals, because sometimes I share cards that I think are undervalued. When I go to the market to buy those cards, you guys already bought everything. So this is actually, if you guys put all of this in perspective, I'm probably losing money. Guys, listen very careful to finish the video. There is a lack of depth on the market. A lot of narratives, in my view, are quite wrong. The rarity is one good example. People are putting too much focus on the rarity when other markets do not show that at all. Look, let me finish. Let me say another thing about rarity. One thing is if the card is super, super rare. But when you compare pops that are similar, but one is more rare, because there will always be the case, that narrative is quite shady in my view. It's easier to manipulate vintage and pre-modern markets than ultra-modern. The reason is quite simple. Ultra-modern market, there is more people on those, so narratives do not work that well. On vintage, pre-modern, we are still a niche market, so it's easier to manipulate this type of market. So be careful with that. Amazing disconnect between the soccer card world versus the soccer world. And this is something that shocks me every day. Shocking revelation for my American friends. No, Cruyff is not more relevant than Maradona in Europe. Basic search on internet, Google Trends, etc., search on YouTube can tell you that. Actually, fun stuff. Maradona is more popular than Cruyff, no matter the region you choose on Google Trends, but actually is more popular in America than there is versus Europe. And I'm not talking about Italy, because that will be a landslide. Okay? Americans, my friends, love you guys. Cruyff is not more relevant than Maradona in Europe. If you guys go to the debate, which I do not think is fair, that Cruyff was a better player, which is very debatable, by the way, but let's say that's a given, that's not indicative of popularity. Maradona, different level. Same with Pelé. For me, Pelé and Maradona, very close. If you make an argument that Maradona is more popular than Pelé, I will be okay with that. But I will be okay if you make the other argument and say, no, Pelé is actually more popular than Maradona. Because I believe both are very similar. If you make an argument that Cruyff is more popular than Pelé, come on. If you make an argument that Cruyff is more popular than Maradona, come on. Do not put a lot of weight in these card opinions. My opinion, other content creators' opinions, we can all be wrong. Do your own research. Look at other markets. Take your time and then make your decision. Look, I spend all of this time trying to convince you that the Panini Football 95 is a better buy than the El Mundo Deportivo. And you tell me, no, I actually disagree with you. I think you are stupid. I think you are totally wrong on that. The El Mundo Deportivo is an iconic set. I mean, crazy idea, but let's say you actually think that is a historical moment for Spain. To be fair, it's difficult to find arguments for the El Mundo Deportivo one. But let's say you strongly believe on that. If that's the case, go for the El Mundo Deportivo. Look, think by yourself. I'm sharing with you my perspective. Can I be wrong? 100%. I'm wrong all the time, guys. Look, sometimes I think a card is an amazing buy, and 1 year from now the card is still selling for the same or even less. This happens to me all the time. Okay, my tracking record is very good, I'm going to be honest. I've been performing very well in this type of markets because I take a look at fundamentals, lineage, history, etc. But I will be wrong a couple of times. What I want is to be correct more times than wrong. So do your own research, look at other markets, take your time, and then make your decision. I will talk against myself. I try my best to be the best I can, but I have my own confirmation bias. At least I'm one of the few content creators that are telling you that. My prediction: good chance we can grow like crazy in the next couple of years because I'm very bullish on the soccer card market. I think we are just getting started. And by the way, even if you buy El Mundo Deportivo or Panini Football, if the market explodes, you most likely you'll be doing very well on both cards. But that being said, good chance we can grow like crazy in the next couple of years. And with that, even more people will push ideas, narratives. An insane big shift can come into the market. Be aware, we are just getting started. Guys, this channel, I believe, is 1.2k members. It's a very small channel. My Discord, I mean, I'm very happy with 200 members, but it's still a very small Discord. But imagine content creators with more than 100k followers, subscribers, whatever, start coming into the market. Even if my opinion can actually sometimes make a card go up in price, which I would say is very little, but I have been seeing that. Imagine if a big content creator comes and starts doing videos daily about the soccer card market. And in my opinion, this is not a question if this will happen or not, is when. Could be next year, could be next month, could be 10 years from now. I cannot predict that. But that will happen. And that will be an insane big shift that can actually come into the market. Look, I'm going to share this with you. Messi 7 on Base is the most expensive Messi right now, and I would say most people agree that is the true rookie. Not the true rookie because that makes not even a lot of sense, but is one of the most, maybe the most important rookie for Lionel Messi. Let's say a Logan Paul, because we saw that on Pokemon. If you guys are not aware of this, go on YouTube, look Pokemon Mania with Logan Paul, and you guys will see how a big influencer can actually change the landscape of the market. If Logan Paul opens a Mundichrome box and gets the Mundichrome card labeled a PSA 10 and stuff like that, there's a likely scenario. Mundichrome can overnight become the most expensive Messi rookie. I will be not shocked by that at all. So, do I think that's likely, the Logan Paul situation? I doubt. But more content creators, way less than Logan Paul to be fair, will actually be a player on the market soon. My channel is small and most likely will always be small because my content maybe not the best content for YouTube. I will be, because I already made those videos, by the way. If I make videos like top 10 cards to buy in ultra modern, top 10 cards to buy in pre-modern, those videos do very well, guys. This type of videos that I'm doing right now, no, people tend to dislike this type of videos. People do not like this type of content. People just want to know what should I buy right now because that's the easy path, not what I'm trying to do on this channel. And going forward, more content like this will become a thing on this channel. I actually regret doing, to be fair, the 50 undervalued cards from GOATs. Not because at least I tried to share knowledge, but in the other end, I think that's the easy way to grow a channel. Putting perspective, putting fundamentals in perspective is what I want to do from now, and that should be the main focus for me on this channel. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to give it a like. I would appreciate quite a lot. Look, this was a 1 hour video. You guys know those videos are not easy to do, so if you can give it a like, I would appreciate quite a lot. Conclusion, most of my viewers know, collect things you love, price is what you pay, value is what you get. See you guys tomorrow on Patreon in this case, but even on YouTube there will be content very soon. See you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Give it a like, subscribe. Bye.